Where did you get this idea in the first place? Let's build a car for the blind.
Building the car for the blind was originally not my idea. We were doing a lot of research in fully autonomous systems, autonomous vehicles. So these are cars where we press start and nobody touches anything and it can reach its destination by following all the rules of the road, intersections and park out, those kind of things. And we actually had a successful vehicle called Odin. I don't know if you're about a project called the DARPA Urban Challenge. It's considered one of the largest, biggest robotics competitions. It was in 2007. It was about who can do up a robotic car that can do all those kind of things. And we actually won $500,000 by placing third place. So we had a good, already a good program in autonomous vehicles. And about that time, the National Federation of the Blind, or NFB, announced a challenge to the research community about who can develop a car that a blind person can drive. And we gladly accepted the challenge. And as far as I know, we are the only team that actually accepted the challenge, probably because we are crazy enough to do that. But we showed the world that it can be done, and it was a huge success.
But why did you take on the project?
So naively, we decided to take it because we thought it won't be too difficult, because we already had a fully autonomous car. So we thought, hey, you just put a blind person in it, and then we're done. But that's not what NFE wanted. They did not want a car that drives a blind person around. They wanted a car where a blind person can make active decisions and drive. So we had to start from scratch.
How far is this project right now? I mean, cars for the blind. When can we actually see it on real roads?
Yes, I get that questions a lot. So our current vehicle is a real car. It can be actually driven by a blind on the road. However, it cannot, the car cannot recognize road signs. It does not recognize traffic signals, but that's not important. If you want to do it, I believe that we can relatively easily implement that. But the reason why we're not doing that is because by the time this becomes a real product, we believe the road infrastructure is going to change. The road signals, the traffic signals, there's going to be an intervehicular communication, or the signs will actually communicate with the cars, smart cars in the future. So when it becomes red, it's going to send a signal to a car so that it alerts the car. So that's going to be happening. So we're not putting a lot of effort into that. We're putting effort into developing new type of non-visual user interfaces. So the things that we have currently do work, but we want to investigate a different type of interfaces. But to answer your question, when is it going to be available? Well, the technological hurdles, we solved a lot, but there's still a lot of things that we want to solve. But the real problem is not really the technology. It's really about social acceptance. Would people accept such a radical idea? You know, would you like to have a blind person driving on the road next to you? As a matter of fact,
it's safe enough.
That's what I think. However, I am getting hundreds of letters and emails from people from all around the world, most of them thanking me and, oh, this is great. But I do get hate mail. I get hate mail from people saying, you know, you're out of your mind trying to put blind people on the road. So this is a good example of social acceptance. There's a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of friction about those kind of things. Or social infrastructure. How are you going to, you know, how is it going to be covered by insurance? Or how are you going to issue driver's license for the blind? So there's a lot of these kind of things that need to be solved. And I believe that the technology will be ready before the society will be ready.
How safe is the technology though?
So that's also a good question. Technology do fail, right? But that's an engineering implementation problem. The last time you flew in the airplane, most likely autopilot was actually flying the plane. But you don't think about it, right?
We're used to it.
We're used to it. Same thing with this blind driver technology. So if you think about it, that's exactly the same.
So what, 5 years from now? Or 10 years?
Probably more than 5 years, 15 years or so, but still there's a lot of things that need to be worked out. And another interesting thing is cost. It's going to be more expensive than a regular car. So for that, probably a government subsidiary program kind of thing needs to be implemented to make it more affordable for the blind.
You're very innovative and creative as well. Yeah. How do you nurture all of these ideas? Yeah,
so I'm a researcher, roboticist, but before that I'm an educator as a professor. So I teach our students, and I try to figure out the best way to teach creativity. But creativity, innovation is a difficult thing to teach. I personally think, again, everybody has a different opinion. I personally think creativity is the ability to connect things that are completely unrelated. A good example is, I don't know if you know about our robot Strider. It's a 3-leg robot that swings its legs between 2 legs and catches the ball. It's a very famous robot. It looks like a camera tripod. That, for example, how I created that, I come up with that idea was once I was in a park and I saw a mother braiding the hair of her daughter. So she had 3 strands of hair doing this.
Yeah.
And I saw that like, oh, that's interesting. And I started thinking, is there a way to create that motion without the hair getting braided? And I took a note like, if the base turns 180 degrees every time, then we create the same motion, but it won't get braided. I just jotted down. There's no robotics relations. I don't know what it's going to be used for, but it was an interesting observation, so I took a note. And then years later, I had a need to come up with a completely different type of robot, that locomotion robot, and I always had these idea notebook journals, and I was looking through. I saw that hair braiding with sketches, like, oh, this could be used for a robotics concept. Thus, the Strider was born. But as you can see, these are unrelated things. Try to connect them and then create new things. And for me, creativity is the ability to do that. To do that, few things are important. First of all, you need to be a keen observer. Everyday life, every time where you go, even now when I'm doing an interview, I'm observing things, how you write things, and that can lead to new robotics concept, for example. Another thing is that to have a lot of those kind of observations, you need to expose yourself to new environments. Traveling, yes, it's fun, but it's a living, learning experience. So you meet different type of people, you get out of your comfort zone, talk to people, artists, complete people in not related to your field, go to a museum, read a great book, and all those things can be inspirational material. Another important thing is to keep notes. Even though you saw something interesting, you forget. So it's a good habit to always keep paper and pencil and jot down your ideas too.